Today I want to talk to you about how to price your inventory when you have no competition on Amazon. Maybe it's an item that you're bringing to Amazon and you don't know how to price it, or it's an item that was sold on Amazon before but it's all sold out and you're like, I don't know what to price my item at. I mean, what do I do to be able to get the most? I want to be able to sell it for a lot, but I also don't want to sell it for or try to price it too high where no one's going to buy it. So how do I price my items when there's no competition on Amazon? Well, I'm glad you asked. So there's a couple different things that I like to do when I'm out sourcing. If I find an item that has no competition on Amazon, or if I'm bringing an item to sell on Amazon that's never been sold on Amazon before, there's a few things that I think about when I'm making my pricing decision. The first thing I do, I double check that there are no other sellers selling this item on Amazon. Now you might be like, well, I've gone to the product page. There's no other sellers on that product page, so that means there's no other sellers selling that product. Except that sometimes there are products out there who have they have multiple product pages. And so like I know that there's a board game, it's the Seinfeld Scene It board game, and as of the last time I looked, there was about 7 different product pages for the same item. Now I know Amazon's trying to condense all of those into one product page. They're trying to go through and looking for multiple product pages to kind of merge them together, but there's still a lot of items out there on Amazon that have multiple product pages. So the first thing I do, I double check to make sure that, you know what, maybe this product page is out there and people are selling it, it's got a good sales rank, and I just need to look somewhere elsewhere for it. So number one, I always make sure that it is the only item out there on Amazon, that there's no other multiple product pages for that item. The second thing I do, I check CamelCamelCamel and Keepa. Now obviously I can't check CamelCamelCamel and Keepa on items that I'm creating a product page for, but if there is an item that's sold on Amazon in the past, there's just no current competition, I'll look at what it was selling for in the past. I'll look at the previous pricing, the sales rank of when items were selling, and I would make my pricing decision based on that. Although I probably would increase my price a little bit, knowing that I'm the only seller. So I would look at, CamelCamelCamel and Keepa, look at the sales ranks, look at the pricing, maybe add an extra $10 or $20, or maybe an extra 10% or 20%, just because I'd be the only one selling it, and so I can maybe charge a little bit more. And then maybe after a little bit of time passes, if it doesn't sell, I'll start to lower it to where it's sold well in the past. I don't want to spend too much time. Obviously, I want to get a sale as soon as I can to get that capital back into my business so I can push it back out into profitable inventory items. So that second thing I did, I checked CamelCamelCamel and Keepa. The third thing I do, I check eBay. And you're like, what are you checking eBay for? Well, if it's not selling on Amazon, someone might be selling it on eBay. I can go check, do an advanced search in eBay's search system, and I can look at completed listings. I can look at the completed listings of items that sold, or just completed listings altogether, and I can kind of see on eBay what those items were selling for on eBay, and maybe even how often it was selling. Again, it gives you an idea of how to price it by seeing what it was sold on Amazon. But again, just like with my tip number 2, I would go and maybe increase the price by 10 or 20% selling it on Amazon, knowing that Amazon sellers usually spend a little bit more than those who are on eBay when they're looking at the exact same items, especially Prime customers. Prime customers will pay that little bit extra to be able to get that item in their hands in 2-day air, or next day, or even hourly if it's available. So that's the third thing I do. I look at eBay listings. And the fourth thing that I do is, if I don't have any other way of knowing, I try to at least go into Amazon and search for that item and see what other items come up, and maybe look at like maybe if I'm selling, if I'm trying to sell, maybe I'm trying to sell a Barbie doll, and it's a Barbie doll that is a soccer player. Now, there already is plenty of product pages on Amazon for a Barbie soccer player, but let's pretend in our example that there's not. So I'd go look at the Barbie baseball player and the Barbie, track runner and and any other type of Barbie that isn't a sports, genre or whatever, and just try to get an idea of what it's selling for in other ways. Look at that same brand, the same character, the same type of theme, and try to be able to look and see if any of those are helpful when it comes to pricing. But again, the big thing here is when you're selling on Amazon, especially FBA, you can price it a little bit higher than on any other platform. And so I would do that. I'd price it up a little bit high, and if it didn't sell in a couple weeks, I'd lower it until I found that sweet spot where it would begin to sell. So this is true if you find an item that's on Amazon that's sold out and you don't know how to price it, or if you're bringing a new item to Amazon and you don't know where to price it for the best price. Those are just a few ideas that you can look to get ideas of where you should start your price at. And then again, if it's not selling, lower it until you find your sweet spot where the sales start coming in a lot and you see those profits. So hopefully this has been helpful when you're trying to figure out how to price something when there's no competition on Amazon to get your ideas for pricing. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. You know what? If you like this video, you can give us a thumbs up below. You can also leave a comment or a question. You can also see any of the links we talked about in this video in the description below. And as always, come hang out with us at fulltimefba.com. Be sure you subscribe for lots of free stuff. Have a great day. God bless.